Brad Marchand has just been phenomenal throughout the whole playoffs, and he was exceptional again the other night. Put this into perspective for us, what this next contract looks like. He's a free agent, term, dollar amount, the teams he'd be interested in. What are you hearing on Marchand?
Well, what I'm hearing is he's in a position where he wants to maximize, his earning potential here on the next contract. I think that, just the way things turned out, he did that 8-year deal with Boston that's coming to an end here, as of June 30th. And, he did that deal just during the World Cup tournament, if you remember back in 2016. Like, clearly his career went up in a big way from the point he signed that. So, he didn't probably make as much money as for how great of a player he's been and how great of a player he remains. So I think that he's one of the true free agents that I would consider a free agent in the sense that he's going to go to market and see what's out there for him. And I don't think there's a lot of guardrails on that. I'm sure there's a few places he probably doesn't want to play and some, things he's got to consider when it comes to his family. But
you think a team will offer him $8 million?
Yeah, I do. And I think he might even get 4 years. I mean, 3 years is probably the minimum it'll take. But it wouldn't surprise me if he got that kind of money. I mean, we have to adjust our mind, too. We know the cap's going up each of the next 3 seasons by pretty significant margins as well. So an $8 million player is on what that deal will be isn't what it has been in the previous system, if that makes sense. And I just think, what's really helped him is all of us wondered, if you go back to deadline day, right? He gets dealt to Boston right at the deadline, basically. If we had the conversation that night, we'd be like, how's this going to work? He spent his whole career, like, if one guy felt like a career Bruin, I'd say it's Brad Marchand, just the way he is. He was the captain of that team here the last couple seasons. Like I would have had questions that night just about how, is he going to almost be a little heartbroken or lost, going to a new place. And the fact he's been one of Florida's, I think he's legitimately, if Florida goes and wins the cup and he keeps popping goals in, like he could get Conn Smythe consideration. I think
no doubt.
For sure.
So he hasn't just been a passenger on this ride who scored a big goal or two, and it's a nice story. Like he's been a game changer for them. Them having that line, like I guess Barkov. There was a question today, Maurice. So there's some starting to get a little bit of attention there, but the Barkov line has not dominated the way you're used to seeing it dominate. And one of the main reasons that Florida's been able to keep going is because Lundell with Listerinen and Marchand has been so good. And so, I think it's a long way of saying you've now seen him play somewhere else and it can work. He can be a culture changer, difference maker kind of guy, even, outside of the place that he was sort of born and raised as an NHL player. And, he's still playing at such a high level at 37. Obviously, there's risk in giving him that next deal, but I don't think he's going to have any trouble getting $8 million and something like 3 to 4 years on the open market.
Yeah, it sets up that way for sure because, you bring up a good point. His contract, he's made good money in his career, but he didn't make massive money.
Yeah, but Hayes, a team's going to get in trouble where they're going to say, we're going to give you 4 times 8, and they're going to say, Chicago's going to put him on their first line and say, you better get us 40 goals and 30 assists, and he's going to have 17 and 12, and they're going to be like, what did we do here? So you got to be careful of what you're doing, as good as he's playing right now.
Big time. Like, that's a part of it.
It's a fair point.
Unless you feel like, again, back to that he's a culture changer, too. If you feel like your organization, I'll give an example, like Buffalo, teams like that, if you feel like he can help, like his leadership, his work ethic can rub off on some of the players that need to get to the next level.
That's where Jamie, his 17 and 12 might be valuable.
Well, you're right. Keep in mind, so he just turned 37 in May. So he's going to play as a 37-year-old next year. But 4 years puts him at 41. So he'll be making $8 million at 41. That's a lot different. You're right. Like you have to be mindful of that. And again, there's managers, Hayes, you always say it. Kick the can down the road. We'll deal with that when we need, when we will. But right now, I could see him being very valuable for many organizations for at least the next 2 calendar years. And with how hard he works, I've told you guys this before. Jerome McGinley told me when he got to Boston, he said he was amazed at how hard that group worked. Chara, Bergeron, Marchand. He said they were in unbelievable shape. Unbelievable. And so that's a guy that I wouldn't worry about as far as the drop-off as physicality. But he's a tiny guy. Like, he's not. That's the other thing. Like, he's not a big dude.
It's always been that way, though, right? That's what he's used to. And,
yeah.
I just
And
wonder,
he's still out
CJ.
there winning puck battles with Draisaitl and guys that are physically bigger than him too. It's crazy.
Sure is. And if it is about money, because if he's not going back to Boston, he's got no reason to give anyone any discount. Endorsement money could factor in. That would be a bigger market team, would it not? Like, to be able to find him some money on the side.
For sure. I think that's got to be part of the sales pitch if the Leafs, if that's where you're winking at
That's
here.
where
Or
I'm
one of the
going.
other-
Yeah.
or one of the other teams. I mean, look, I can tell you this is not going to be a discount kind of deal. Like, that's just at his stage of life. And look, he's earned the right to actually go to be a true free agent. He's not going to the market saying I'm going to land in one of 3 or 4 cities. I mean, he's probably got a list, but he's really going to consider the financial windfall that can be part of it. And he wants to maximize his earnings. I see no problem with that. And frankly, in a place like Toronto, you'd think that there'd be more opportunities away from the rink to make money. I mean, he's already lining up these DQ, ads during these playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, he clearly doesn't mind marketing himself, selling himself. He's a great personality. He's a great guy. And, I think he's going to get for people that maybe aren't dialed into it thinking about this already, he's going to get a bigger number, I think, than the average hockey fan would be expecting on July 1.
I'm pretty sure you get him in a room with Duthie and some producers and some camera crew. There could be some kind of crafty rat poison ad with Brad Marchand. Like,
There's money to be made
Oh, yeah.
with him and his personality and his creative nature.